Bill Lorensen died on December 12, 2019. Given the outpouring of grief from his coworkers, friends, and family, it is clear that he will be greatly missed. When we think of great influencers in fields like computer science, we tend to focus on technical excellence. Bill had this in spades. He was involved in the creation of core software systems, algorithms, and workflows. Along with Harvey Klein, he created the most widely cited visualization algorithm, marching cubes, which has been used in a huge number of applications. As of September 18th, 2020, Google Scholar reports over 16,000 citations of the Marching Cubes paper. His 1992 paper on triangle decimation with Will Schroeder also ranks among the top 10 cited SIGGRAPH papers of all time. He was a co-author of the seminal book Object-Oriented Modeling and Design. He had over 31 U.S. patents. In 1991, he was recognized as a GE Coolidge Fellow, the company's highest author. And in 2004, Bill received the IEEE Visualization Career Award. He was a principal architect of the Visualization Toolkit, VTK, and the Insight Toolkit, ITK, and also 3D Slicer, all open source projects with vital communities that continue to change the world. He was a SIGGRAPH and visualization pioneer. Bill was a fixture at ACM SIGGRAPH and at IEEE Viz for decades, eventually serving on the as awards chairman for the Viz conferences. The continuing impact of his ideas have been profound, and his personal commitment helped to shape the dialogue for graphics and visualization research for over 40 years. Anyone who had the happy opportunity to work with Bill can tell you that he had an understated influence, which continues to provide lessons to all of us. In this short tribute, we will provide short personal stories from a few of Bill's friends and colleagues.
How do you describe Bill Lorensen, a talented and creative mathematician and computer scientist, a great communicator, able to build strong collaborations within his own work environment and also externally within the scientific community. Bill's ability of collaboration was simply exceptional. A natural technical leader who again could build networks both within and outside his community to achieve outstanding research results. Within GE, Bill was one of the first people to advance the use of the internet and object-oriented programming. He was recognized by his research peers within GE's Global Research Center with the William Coolidge Fellowship Award, the highest award of research recognition within GE. Bill was the technology leader and glue of our visualization group. Bill left us far too early. We will always remember Bill for his great wit, his affable nature, and his deep friendship will always be a part of me.
My name is Vince Scavullo. Bill joined my group at GE Research in the late 1970s. We worked together on many projects. His technical achievements and accomplishments are well documented. Bill and I were very close friends for over 40 years. We did many things together. We fished, we played golf, we played the horses, and on. Everything we did was lighthearted and fun. Above all, Bill was a dedicated family man. He cared greatly for his wife, daughter, and son. There wasn't anything he wouldn't do for them. As a friend, Bill was just as positive and upbeat as he was at work. He never had a bad word to say about anyone. He never uttered a foul word. Instead, he looked forward. He looked for solutions. He looked to the future. He handled his last months with dignity and class. He never complained. We have lost a great person, but we have not lost what we have learned from him. Bill, I was lucky to have you as a friend.
What I remember about Bill Lorensen is the twinkle in the eye that told you how much he loved what he did, and the twinkle in the eye that told you how much fun you would have when you worked alongside of him.
Thanks for the opportunity to join you today. Bill Lorensen was a remarkable individual. He was incredibly gifted, and he shared those gifts with many colleagues in the broad community of software innovators and developers. He was always positive, but also pragmatic, developing algorithms, building translational platforms, and adopting new approaches to teamwork. Following his leadership, many people, including many of us, were able to work far more effectively and efficiently in engineering design, commercial visualization, medical imaging, and other fields. He convinced many of us of the virtues and advantages, particularly the quality of open source software. He was an exceptional collaborator, and at every scale he helped gently guide people around him to create and to grow. We have been lucky to have Bill as a mentor and as a friend. We will remember his upbeat and constructive attitude and the resulting accomplishments as examples for us all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ron Kikinis, and I am delighted and saddened at the same time to give this tribute to my dear friend Bill Lorensen. I met Bill Lorensen in 1988 when we started collaborating on augmented reality applications in surgery. Since then, we had been working together on a variety of different interesting projects, and during that time we became friends, and he was also to me a teacher and mentor. In particular, I learned a lot from him about open source and the philosophy of open source and working in a community. His personality was well suited for community style work. He was always friendly, he had always a smile, he liked to tease but in a nice way. Nobody that I know of was ever upset at him. He was so nice, but he was also extremely competent and extremely knowledgeable in his field. And it was a pure pleasure to working with him over the decade.
The singer and songwriter Billy Joel once answered his daughter's question, "Where do we go when we die, Daddy?" with the following reply: "I believe that you go into other people's hearts. When you pass into other people's hearts, and you are taken into their lives for the rest of their lives. And they pass that on, just like music, it never ends, it goes on and on." Bill Lorensen touched so many lives when he was with us. He was a teacher, a mentor, an advisor, a leader, a thinker, a socializer, a scholar, a great man, and a warm and caring friend. Of all those people, I miss the friend the most, the lover of beer, the player of golf, the curious and playful mind. By touching so many lives, so many hearts in his time with us, his footprint on this world is vast. He has gone into our hearts, into my heart, and I will carry him for the rest of my life. I see his reflection in my students, my colleagues, and my friends. I miss you, Bill. I celebrate you, and I will never forget you, and thus you will always be with me.
I first met Bill in 1992 at my first visualization conference. And I believe it was my advisor Ari Kaufman who introduced us and said, "This is the guy who invented marching cubes." And I said, "That's great," but I didn't really know what that was. So then later I found that marching cubes is of course one of the most cited and probably one of the most influential algorithms in all of computer graphics. And Bill, typical to his nature, very humble, didn't even make a big deal about that, and just was always so welcoming and open to talk to especially junior people about visualization. So my memories of Bill over the years are really of him being a super geek, interested in all kinds of algorithms, interested in software engineering, but also really fun to argue with on panels about the benefits of marching cubes versus raycasting in volume rendering. And always very happy to have a beer with you and sit down for a chat. So Bill, we all miss you very much. He was a statesman for our field. He was a role model for all of us, and we always will miss him.
So Bill always made everything more fun, and even after he retired, he used to hang out and be on advisory boards and stuff like that. So one time we were having a meeting online, and every few minutes the screen would go like this, and then we go on. Bill would keep talking, and then at one point after a couple times like this, I said, "Hey Bill, why do you keep showing us a picture of your stomach every 5 minutes?" And he said, "Well, I thought it might be recorded, and I didn't want to see him drinking my beer at 2 o'clock in the afternoon."
I met Bill just as I was entering grad school. At the time, he would come over to RPI for an afternoon every couple of weeks to talk research. After grad school, I joined Bill over at GE and worked with him until he retired. We could fill this week recounting Bill's stories. We can celebrate Bill's contributions to the field. Bill was there at many of the beginnings. But the things I remember most about Bill have to do with how he did things. First, he had a way of connecting, which led each of us to feel like we were his best friend. Second, he showed us a technical career path that avoided going into management. And third, he was our biggest fan. He was always promoting the work he had seen and connecting people to opportunities.
My friends and family knew Bill Lorensen as the 800-pound gorilla because that's what I referred to him as whenever he wasn't around. However, I meant that phrase only out of deep respect. Bill had such a commanding presence whenever he entered a room, and yet at the same time he was more kind, considerate, and helpful to me than what I ever deserved. But that was Bill's default with people. He always assumed the best in them, and he brought out the best in them. And that's what made him such a great leader, as well as so well respected by his peers. I'm forever thankful for having had the opportunity to get to know Bill, to work with him, and to learn from the examples that he set. Thank you, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.
Cheers, Bill.